Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Some people do stupid things. Don't do stupid things. You are about to hear my opinion. Do your own research.
Crazy things happening in the world right now.
Russia is cutting electricity and internet after 10 p.m. in order to boost their birth rates. A 23-year-old is preparing to become the first human on Mars, and she's never going to return to Earth. In China, people are paying $4 a day to pretend they have jobs. Some are renting fake offices, some are posing as CEOs, all just to hide their unemployment from their family. Denmark has officially raised its retirement age to 70, which is the highest in Europe. Nancy Pelosi is now worth $264 million, while serving 38 years in Congress with an annual salary of $223,000. A former DOGE engineer says that federal waste and fraud were relatively non-existent. China is digging the deepest hole on planet Earth. Tesla's new Cyberquad is a $1,650 quad bike for kids. A billionaire passed away after swallowing a BM at a polo match.
What? That's a lot of stuff. So we're going to check them out one thing at a time. Top of the list. Let's go.
And finally, in Russia, Vladimir Putin has launched an unusual campaign to combat a plunging population crisis. Amid dropping birth rates, Putin is urging Russians to take drastic measures, including having sex during lunch breaks at work. In an effort to reverse the demographic crisis, employees are being encouraged to procreate on the clock.
Yeah, I know. That doesn't have anything to do with turning off the power at 10 o'clock. Just hold on. That did happen. We talked about that several months ago, that they're like, hey, do it some more. We need more babies. We need to increase our population, especially since they're at war and lots of them have, gone away. So here's another piece.
Ministry of Sex. You heard that right. Russia wants such a ministry to fix its falling birth rate. It has an aging population, low birth rates and rising mortality. So the Kremlin wants people to have more babies and have them fast. And they floated some brilliant ideas to make it happen. A new ministry is only the beginning. They want couples to turn off the internet and lights by 10 p.m. and get to work. They want to pay a pension to mothers who stay at home and not go to office. They want to cover hotel expenses for your wedding night and pay bills for your first date. Now, first dates are scary enough without the government involved, but Russia wants to do all of this and more because President Vladimir Putin has high expectations. He wants women to have 8 children or more. That's going to take some work from couples and apparently the Kremlin, which has passed a new bill this week banning child-free lifestyles. It outlaws any form of so-called propaganda which promotes the refusal to have children. This includes material on the internet, in media outlets, in movies, in advertisements. Basically anything that promotes a lifestyle without children is banned. Violators will be subjected to fines, about $4,000 for individuals and $50,000 for legal entities. Now, if you know Russia even a little bit, you know that they're acting out. Much like with human beings, when countries act out, it is usually out of fear. And Russia is very scared. Over the past decade, they have seen a continuous demographic decline. Russia is home to some 145 million people. That's smaller than their population in 1991, when the USSR broke up, when the Soviet Union collapsed. And this year, it is expected to shrink further by 500,000. This poses a threat to the country's economy and social fabric, so the Kremlin is throwing money and bizarre sexual ideas at the problem.
They're trying to make more babies, more Russian babies, because they need to replenish their population supply. Could you imagine having 8 children? Not only would that do a toll on your body, but that's what they're encouraging. Families with 8 children. Now, I have 2 children, and one of them is my stepdaughter from my husband's previous marriage, and I couldn't imagine popping out 8 of them. At least, a minimum. That's crazy. No, I couldn't do it. That's too much. That's too much. Now, I don't say don't have babies, but some people want to don't have babies, and I think that's okay. But dang.
Look at this girl once, because she is going to leave the world in a few years. Actually, this is 22-year-old Alyssa Carson, who lives in America, who will be sent to Mars in 2013. But the shocking thing is that she will never be able to come back from there, whose confirmation has been given by NASA itself. But there is a lot of courage in Alyssa's father, because he himself said that if NASA has the option of going to Mars and not coming back, they will still send their daughter to Mars. And Alyssa was also told by her father at the age of 3 that she will go to Mars one day, after which she will never be able to come back from there. And since then, she has been preparing to go there every day.
Let's talk about Alyssa Carson. Alyssa Carson is an American space enthusiast and undergrad student. Born in Hammond, Louisiana, and graduated from Baton Rouge International School. And she's currently studying astrobiology at the Florida Institute of Technology. Her nickname, NASA Blueberry, actually comes from her time at the Advanced Space Academy. It's her call sign, which astronauts use over the radio. She's attended Space Camp 7 times, Space Academy 3 times, and the Robotics Academy once. She remains the only person to attend every space camp offered, including those in Turkey and Canada. She's witnessed 3 space shuttle launches. She's attended the Sally Ride camp at MIT and 3 Sally Ride day camp. She speaks Spanish, French, Chinese, and some Turkish. At age 16, she participated in the Advanced POSSUM Space Academy. At age 18, she got her pilot's license. She also was the first person to complete the NASA Passport program, visiting each of NASA's 14 visitor center programs across 9 states. She was also a panelist at the Mars Exploration Rover 10 panel at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Washington, and she's an ambassador for the Mars One program. She was also featured in the Mars Generation documentary.
And she's gonna go to Mars in 2030. That's the plan. It's kind of scary. Like, she's like, yeah, dedicated to that, and she may not come back. Why wouldn't they send somebody once they have the ability to come back first? I think that should be the priority, not sending somebody, sending something, and then making it come back successfully multiples of times before sending a people out there, because that's just wrong. You're like condemning them for science. But we do that crap, don't we?
I just read an article about a trend in China. People are paying $4 a day for an office with lunch just to pretend they have a job. Apparently, it's about hiding unemployment due to huge social pressure from family. They are paying just to sit there, sometimes taking photo, posing as a boss, just to post online. It's wow. After reading the article, I have a question. These youngsters are hiding their jobless status. So can they really afford the $4 a day? Where is the money coming from?
Now that's a lucrative business, right? You set up an office and you have people pay you every day to come in and pretend they're doing work, because it's bad for society and it's bad for their own social image for them to not go to work. That's great. That's brilliant. I mean, it's terrible. It sucks that they're pressured in order to have to do that, because don't they have like this social value where if they're not contributing, they like lose stuff? Something like that. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but I think they do have that. But yeah, setting up an office, have people pay you $4 a day to come in and pretend.
Nancy Pelosi's net worth has increased by $140 million since becoming Speaker of the House in 2007. She has an average salary of $200,000, but somehow has been making $9.3 million a year.
Should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to the second one. We have a responsibility to report in the stock, on the stock, but I'm not familiar with that 5-month review, but if people aren't reporting, they should be. Because this is a free market and we're a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
I truly believe that anybody in Congress or any position of power that gets this kind of information about stocks and companies doing whatever they're doing should not be allowed to trade. Period. Dot. End of sentence. Just because they're manipulating the system and they're staying in their position to continue manipulating the system and gain massive amounts of wealth on the backs of everyday, taxpayers. It's crap. I would love to get some insider trading information and pull a full Martha Stewart or something, because, hello, everybody else is just struggling while you're sitting here with that earwig telling you what to do, where to put your money, how to amass millions and millions of net worth. She's a terrible person.
Is China digging the largest hole in the world? Yes, and it's very real. China is currently drilling what many are calling the deepest man-made hole ever attempted in the Earth's crust. The project, taking place in the Tarim Basin in the Xinjiang region, aims to reach over 11,000 meters deep. That's nearly 7 miles straight down. But here's where it gets weird. This isn't just any drill site. The Tarim Basin is known for extreme geological complexity, and it's also a hotspot for oil reserves and tectonic activity. China says the project is to help them study Earth's deep structure and improve earthquake prediction. But is that really the full story? Some speculate this has less to do with science and more to do with military strategy, natural resource control, or even secret underground testing. After all, drilling that deep could give access to ancient microbial life, rare earth minerals, or underground voids that we've only theorized about. And remember, only one other human attempt comes close. The Soviet Kola super deep borehole, which stopped at 12,262 meters due to extreme heat and pressure. Some even claimed the Russians heard strange sounds from the depths. So, the question is, what does China think is down there that's worth the risk?
Okay, really tongue-in-cheek here. Isn't that how Godzilla started? Like, they dug into his, home and found him, and then it turned into bad things? Is this going to be one of those truth in movies situations where we're going to uncover, huge creatures living on the center of the earth, and then they're going to, fight? Yeah. Sorry about that. I thought it was funny.
This is the Tesla Cyberquad. Costs $2,000. They say it's for kids, but hey, it's kind of fun for adults too. See you later. 10 miles per hour, max speed, not bad.
Except they didn't go 10 miles per hour as a max speed. They went a lot faster than that.
Rear brake, no front brake, thumb throttle right there. There's one power switch in the back, and that's it. It's a very simple bike. Can I call this a bike? Is it a quad? I can't wait. Let's see how it rides. Whoa, whoa! It wasn't turning. Let's see how this performs. Full throttle. Whoa! Oh! No way! Oh, I need my gloves. Whoa, that was faster than I was expecting. Hold up. Very snappy thumb throttle right here. Oh, it's kind of scary though because the rear brake, I'm mashing it right now and it sort of slowly stops you. Ooh, should I take this on the main road? Seems like a good idea. Oh my god.
And they got recalled real fast. I know in California they did, because they're not for children. They made you, if you bought one, you had to remove something and send it to them, like a circuit board or something, to prove that you removed that circuit board, and then they give you your money back. But you have to keep the thing. That doesn't work, but a lot of people were figuring out how to make it work again. So they got free little cyber quads. And it's not for kids. It was definitely not for children.
What in the CIA is this? 53-year-old billionaire Sanjay Kapoor has been unalived after a bee stung him in the mouth during a polo match, triggering a heart attack. Man, look. RIP to this man. But man, I know it sounds crazy, but bro, I don't know why the first thought in my head was some movie type shit. That was a controlled bee to fucking go up in this man's mouth and sting his ass just to take him out of here. I remember when them plane crashes with them billionaires, a billionaire in Africa that owned one of the up and coming largest banks. They try to get rid of, quote unquote. He unalived on the way to the Super Bowl. Remember the Cash App billionaire? They try to get rid of him. Fed now. That bitch came, but it ain't be successful like they thought it would. And you ain't noticed, but it was a lot of billionaires just coming up missing. Plane crash, just randomly getting slashed. Wild shit.
This is the one that I was particularly interested in hearing about, because the clip at the very beginning said it was a BM. And that's poop. It wasn't poop that killed him. It was a bee went in his mouth and stung him, and he had an adverse reaction and he kicked the bucket. But this guy's got a very interesting point. There have been a lot of billionaires just going tits up. Maybe it's a planned thing. Maybe it was a little remote control bee with something in there to make him go. I don't know. That's some serious conspiracy brain stuff right there.
If you saw my last video on the Austin Lake cases, then you already know that things aren't adding up. But what if I told you those incidences might be connected to a much bigger and older theory? It's called the smiley face theory, and it goes all the way back to the late 90s. Over 40 young men, mostly college-aged, athletic, and white, were found unalived in rivers across the Midwest. Police said they were drowning, but former NYPD detectives weren't buying it. They noticed a creepy pattern, and get this, at more than a dozen locations they found smiley face graffiti. Not always in obvious spots, but sometimes tucked away like a hidden signature. The theory is these weren't accidents. They were targeted removals by an organized group. Now, fast forward 20 years, and we're seeing the same type of victims pulled from Lady Bird Lake in Austin. If you missed that breakdown, go watch my first video because the parallels are wild. Both cases involve men vanishing after drinking, bodies appearing in water, no clear signs of struggle, and no answers. Austin says it's coincidence, but this theory says it's a pattern and it's still playing out today. Same type of victim, same environment, and same silence. The FBI shut the theory down years ago, but now people are asking if it ever really stopped. What if the Rainy Street Ripper is just the next chapter of the smiley face theory? Smiley faces, unalived college students, and a trail that's lasted over 2 decades. Coincidence or something way darker?
So I've got a couple of theories. My first theory is it's a copycat, because that happens quite a bit. People get like enamored with these particular cases and then they copy them. It's copycat. I didn't need to explain that. You know what copycat means. Or maybe this particular individual that was doing it 20 years ago was in prison for something not related and he wasn't tied to that. Or she, you never know. They weren't tied to that and then they got out and then they're doing things again. Maybe they got back to it. I don't know. But it is pretty interesting, isn't it?
One kidney. That is the perfect fucking crime. I was speaking to a doctor, a friend of mine, and there has been 2 reported cases in Australia, Sydney, where 2 patients have gone to Turkey to have tummy tucks and have come back with 1 kidney.
That?
1 kidney. That is the perfect crime because they're opening them up. No one really checks what's going on. Like, oh, I'm in pain. Yeah, that's normal. That's from your tummy tuck. So it's a perfect crime. You're in pain. It's justified by the tummy tuck. No one's going to really search for their second kidney.
That is missing. Actually
And the only way it was found out was because those 2 patients ended up in emergency.
Can you believe that? Oh my gosh, that is insane. So they're going to Turkey, these people, to get like some kind of medical procedure because it's super cheap to fly there, do the thing, and then come home versus doing it here in the States or other countries like Australia, right? And they're coming back with less organs because they've been harvested. People are stealing organs in Turkey. That's insane.
I haven't seen Garth Fisher in forever, and he told a story on a podcast yesterday of these 3 women that all of us know in Beverly Hills. I know the people close to these people. These gals went for mommy makeovers in Turkey, and the 3 of them came back, decent results, whatever. It was 15 grand each or whatever. One of them wasn't feeling so well. And he literally told this, like, I was listening to him, I was like, I can't believe he told the story. And so went to the doctor, got like an MRI, and said, oh, that's interesting. Were you born with 1 kidney? Shut up. Scanned the other 2. All 3 of them had their kidneys taken during their mommy makeovers and sold. And, you know, they called the doctor, and he's like, well, you know, they have a gun at my head. I have to do this. Like, I work for the government.
Oh my gosh. So they're like making these doctors take their organs. What? That's insane. Don't go to Turkey to do any kind of, you know, procedure because you may come back incomplete. I mean, more incomplete than you wanted to come back because apparently the government is making the doctors do the thing. There's got to be some black market thing going on there, I'm sure.
Right, so I keep telling you about this fake news, right? Let's have a look at this. Look at the size. Look at, she's carrying those buckets of concrete with 1 hand. Who's she? Fucking She-Hulk.
Now, I'm not saying that the devastation, wherever that was, isn't real. But I am saying it's interesting that she was carrying this concrete block with one hand. Somebody messed up when they aired that footage. Well, I thought I had more, but I guess I don't. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Then come on back, because we're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.
I scroll through static in a velvet robe, aliens, clones, and lizard pros. My Wi-Fi's haunted, or so they say. Echoes of TikToks never fade away. Is that a glitch or the face of fate? Clickbait dreams on a data plate. Digital ghosts and coffee toast. We laugh with fear. We love the most when stories break and logic bends. The weird begins but never ends. Dudes with theories, hats of foil. Government stealing microwave oil. Flat earth maps in a donut shape. And don't forget that moon is fake, she said. Watch this, then hit record. The rabbit hole's a motherboard. Digital ghosts and coffee toast. We sip the strange, we roast the host. Truth in memes or maybe lies. It's all just fun until it fries.
That lady just married a ghost pirate. No further questions.
Digital ghosts and coffee toast. Mrs. Collins knows the most. Laughs in code, lights up the screen. The strangest stuff you've ever seen.
Today's coffee talk. Always a wild ride.